Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers.
Ted Jones, I also call him the eighth wonder of the real estate world.
Ted Jones, who knows, it could be.
Ted Jones?
The Ted Jones World Podcast.
Welcome to episode 23 of the Ted Jones World Podcast. I am your host, Ted Jones. Thank you for joining us. Number 23, Michael Jordan. Very cool. I have two lovely gentlemen to the left of me, to the right of the camera over here. But first, I got to say what up to producer Pat. Pat, what's gooch?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
Great. How are you?
Can I get a great?
Great. I'm so good.
Perfect. All right.
Get lit,
so
dude.
first over here, we have a very good-looking comedian, my good buddy, Zach McGovern. I'm introducing first, dude, so just hold on for a second.
It's Danny's
Zach
running joke.
McGovern, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Big-time comedian in New York City. You might have seen him around, this gorgeous man. Pat, you've definitely seen him.
I've seen him around.
He's a gorgeous guy.
he's
Danny Palmer, my
Big-time
man.
comedian.
My
I'm gonna
friend.
revisit that.
Well, dude, come on. I'm giving everyone their big-time intros. Danny, friend of mine for years. This guy runs a great show every single Friday night at Black Cat at 172 Rivington Street. That show's every Friday night at 8:30. That show is lit, and sometimes I go there and spit a little bit, but it's great.
Thanks, bro.
Hang out with these guys all the time. And one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you guys on the podcast with Pat over here is we listen to the podcast and we think it's hilarious. These guys
Thank you.
have a podcast called Space. What the fuck, dude? Well, I just imagine that
Hence the intro.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we put in the
Just making sure everyone
intro
knows.
over here. Yeah, like
Can we have that intro?
So
That's
that
way better than
wasn't
ours.
so that wasn't confusing at all by Alec Baldwin, but Pat decided to put that in. So enough of me talking. How are you boys?
I just want to say right off the bat that Danny and I had an argument last episode about how to say the name of the podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to that part. Danny likes it to be Space. What the fuck, dude?
Well, how did I just do?
You did it like
You
that.
did it
You
right.
correctly, but
You did it
apparently
correctly.
I, the co-host of the fucking podcast, did it wrong. Where I was like, "Space, what the fuck, dude?" And he's
So
"No,
like,
dude."
how long did it take you guys to nail down that title then and saying it correctly? Have you guys still not, like, the next episode is going to be the first time you guys both say it like in sync and you both are like, Space, what the fuck, dude?
I mean, I just think it's open to interpretation. It doesn't have to be Space. What the fuck, dude?
Handy.
But that is
Doesn't
the
have to be
question.
Danny's voice.
The point of the of the
That-
title is what the fuck is going on up there, dude? The
Right.
point, it's not just that you say the word dude in a lengthy way to be like, dude. That doesn't express the sentiment.
Yeah, but it's still a question. It's because it's a question. It doesn't matter that we're not saying it like fucking Danny Palmer says
Right.
everything in his entire
Right.
life.
Danny Palmer over there.
what the fuck, dude, makes no sense. What the
It's
fuck,
still a
dude,
question.
is
So
the
like
question.
on their podcast, also just want to interrupt their arguing. They just get in a ton of
It's just
fights
like this.
about like it's literally just like this, and like that's why we want to bring you guys on the pod. Ask you guys a few questions, get to know you guys a little bit better.
Please do.
You guys are boys with myself, and you met Pat a million times over there.
Yeah.
But how did you guys initially meet? Maybe we'll start with that.
Let's get a little background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny and I met at an open mic
yeah,
at Broadway Comedy
Oh,
Club.
nice.
You remember the story?
yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
So we were at an open mic, and I had seen him a few times, and he just used to like
At other open mics.
at other open mics, and we were both very new in comedy. And I was like, I'm taking it seriously. Like, go work on your jokes. Like, you got to get good, Zach. Like, don't fuck around. And I saw Dan a couple times, and he would just go up there and just talk to the crowd. And I'm like, dude, you're at an open mic. What are you doing? He
Just
get up there and be
working
like,
the crowd.
"Yeah, what's up, dude? Hey, it's kind of man, dude. It's kind of hey, kid, dude."
I'm trying to do a little crowd work now too, Danny P. I appreciate it.
It
though.
helps me.
Yeah. So, so you went in there. You're like, who is this guy? And then how did you guys just start linking up? This guy.
Wait,
I mean,
so
you
then-
guys saw each other.
So the
Go
way,
ahead.
sorry, afterwards, so then Zach went up next,
Yeah.
and he was like, give it up for the uglier, less funny Jim Gaffigan. I was like, who the
Man.
fuck is this
And
guy?
then you're like, that guy's gonna be my boy.
Yeah.
Pat, we need a fresh story like that.
Not right away, though. Like,
Oh.
Then you had the show at
Yeah,
Layer
me and
shortly
Julio
after.
had that. Sorry, me and Julio Gallerati.
Julio
your good friend.
Gallerati, episode 7.
Yeah, oops, the podcast.
Getting to know Julio.
Friend of the pod.
Yes, go
G
ahead.
and I ran a show in Soho at this bar called Layer, and then one night Zach came to the bar. To Layer, and we went to a bar afterwards, and he had shorts on. He's wearing this backpack, and I was like, "Is this fucking backpack guy coming with us?"
Wait, it was Zach
And
or
I got
it was
to talk-
Julio?
No, it was me.
It was both of you
Sorry,
guys.
yeah.
I feel like you.
Me
both
and
was
Julio Julio.
Julio.
were friends.
Yeah.
We started the show.
Because Zach went on a Euro trip with Julio this past summer.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were backpacking around
100%.
with shorts on.
Short.
That makes
So
sense.
what, yeah, wait,
It makes
yeah,
sense
yeah,
in that
you're right, it
context.
does. Okay, fine.
Okay,
fair
well,
enough.
so, in my defense, starting out in comedy, like I was busting my ass. Like I was trying to make comedy work at night, so I would have to go from like a job that I was working. So I had
Yeah.
to bring separate clothes and a backpack and just go right to open mics.
yeah. See,
Danny was
he's
already
grinding
45
over
years
there.
old when he started. So
That is not true.
he had a day career where he could just leave his clothes at his apartment. I started at 20, which is a normal age to start comedy. So
Right.
I had a backpack.
You know what? Also, the
I
funniest
like that
thing
your insult
ever.
involves me having a career.
What? But also, Danny,
also
the
being
funniest thing
45.
is like you've gotten so many people jobs like through your job. It's outrageous. Like the amount of temp
Also me.
jobs. Yeah, the amount of temp jobs that Danny Palmer has gotten for his friends is crazy. Like. If you've done stand-up comedy in New York City within the last like 5 years, chances are you have probably temped for Danny Palmer in his role at his job.
You've been through the PVH system.
It's
courtesy of Danny
crazy.
Palmer.
Yeah.
I remember
a lot
of
comics,
dudes.
man.
Yeah, a lot. Like no joke. How many
Yeah.
do you think actually?
I mean, I would say at least 15.
It's a lot. of
That's
people.
Maybe
nuts.
10. Yeah.
But Danny,
And you're just
and it
hooking
was
up temp
perfect for them,
jobs.
yeah.
I mean, is that what you're saying? But Danny,
I was
over
going to
here.
say, you know, if you were looking out for yourself and more stage time, you should have gotten less people careers or not like temp jobs at your job, because then maybe they wouldn't have been able to stay in New York City and there would be more stage time for other people.
yeah.
So you just kept people's careers alive inadvertently.
That was stupid. I should be more ruthless.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
No.
Thanks.
You know what? Karma works well. If you don't see my shirt, it says
Thanks,
God
Ted
is
Jones.
dope. What a shirt.
Yeah.
Jesus, you love this?
I almost
God,
left.
yeah,
shout
I
out your own
almost
shirt.
Walked in, saw the shirt. I almost immediately left.
You didn't laugh before that? He said, Danny was like, oh, God is dope.
God is dope. dude.
Okay, so let's
God,
go.
or as Zach would say, God is dope.
Let's go individually here.
Callback. That's the first callback Danny's ever had in comedy.
So, Zach,
No one knows
you
what
have-
that term is, dude.
People
Zach,
who are listening to this podcast know.
all right, guys, stop bickering. I want to ask a question over here. All right, Zach, bro. So you have your house on your pec.
Yeah,
That's veg. So where is that house in real life? Not
it's
on your
outside of
body.
Chicago in Illinois, and it's also on my left pec. For those who don't know,
Right.
but
Okay.
it's outside of Chicago. It's it's about an hour west of Chicago.
Okay.
Grew up very middle
I
class.
you know what? When you just said Chicago, I almost
Chicago.
heard the full Chicago accent. You're like, yeah, you know, it's an hour west of Chicago.
Yeah, you don't really
Not
have that
fully
accent.
that much, but when he said Chicago, I heard it. I maybe just exaggerated when I said Chicago.
There's certain
Like, he
words,
was like,
but like when I get really
money.
drunk
You know when you like money. I hear that a lot. For money,
Money?
that's nuts.
From Chicago?
Money. Yes,
Money?
money. Nuts. I've heard that.
I think you're just talking to people with speech impediments.
Yeah,
I've never heard
From
that
Chi-
one.
And they're just from Chicago.
Money.
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 I have money.
Money. Go ahead.
Let me go to war.
Yeah. At Walmart. All right, go. What were we talking
So
about?
the reason I got the tattoo was because I grew up very middle class, but for some reason there was a lot of times growing up where I was kind of ashamed of like, you know, my family of like, oh, we don't have enough money. Like all my other friends would have like nicer. I was very materialistic growing up, and like if my friends had a better car, I'd be like, well, why don't we have the car? Like if they went on a certain vacation, I'd be like, well, why didn't we go on a vacation like
Right.
that? So now that I'm an adult and I realize, you know, how hard my family worked to have anything we had, I was like, let me, you know, immortalize that with the tattoo of the house that I grew up in, which at certain times I was like, oh, it's a small house. But then I'm like, fuck it, it's a house I grew up in. I had a great family, great upbringing, you know? So I put
You
it
know,
on my
I
body.
also feel
really
like one
nice.
time I'll just like interject here. That was very nice, and Danny, nice of you to acknowledge
you,
that.
Danny.
You know, but yeah, I'm just want to also just have like therapy session over here. These guys are touching each other's thighs, very fresh. So you know, just I feel like also at some point, like maybe I kind of feel like I've reached this point in my life, and Pat, maybe you have too. But you just kind of reach a point in your life where you're like, all right, I got to just fucking do shit for myself. You know what I mean? To a point where you're like, yeah, this is where I grew up. Like, who gives a fuck? I'm not like that person anymore or whatever. But you actually cut like where you come from. You obviously don't forget. But then like as you go on like through life, and like you have so much a part of your other life that like you've already lived, and you lived in that house for what? You know, through high school, if that, like,
Yeah.
till you were 16 years old. So
About
now
18
the
years.
fact that, like, yeah, you've lived, you know, longer than that, or like or approaching that, or whatever it is, you just like kind of have a separately removed life. And I felt like as soon as I went to college, you know, I was like playing tennis and whatever. But then, like, when I got out and I started living alone in the city instead of like living with my parents, I just kind of felt like my life was like kind of becoming more of my own, and more like the more separate you become,
Yeah.
removed from like a situation. You're like, oh, like I'm the one who has to kind of do this. And like,
Yeah.
like you were saying, like, you know, you had to grind, bro. And
Sure.
like, you know, Danny Palmer's up there, you know, working the crowd. You got to do what you can by any means, man.
Yeah, well, to be fair,
what
most,
makes you happy
most
too.
people don't move to New York after college and immediately live alone. Most people have like 3 or 4 roommates.
Right. Well, I
Yeah,
didn't immediately
about
live
12
alone. No. I
Okay,
had
just to
a
clarify.
roommate. I had roommates for like 2 years out of college. And then like I finally got my own place, which was
Okay.
very nice. But yes.
But you wouldn't put a tattoo of your childhood house on your chest to commemorate it? Is that part of what you're
Well, I
saying
just-
as well? You're like,
no.
you see a separation
Here
from
comes
that?
the dig.
No.
No, I'm not digging. I'm asking.
No. Valid question. I
I don't think he has a big enough chest for the house he grew up
I
in.
think.
Oh,
What?
there you go.
I think that
There's the dig.
No, I think it's like he's
Went the other way.
commemorating it, and at the same time, he's like, okay, I've also done so much past this. I want to remember that part of him.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what Zach is saying. He wants to remember this.
I
part
think it's
of
just
me.
because now I look back and I realize how
Yeah,
fortunate I was.
exactly.
That I'm like, I want to
Totally.
do that. I want to.
There you
know.
go. You just
Yeah.
realize, you look back and you see, everything you've gone through. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so emotional.
No, it's fine. Plus, girls love it. So
Yeah, dude, girls also do love that. So we'll get that tagged up for Zach. We'll get that clip for him, and he'll send it out. He'll send it out.
Zach just on every first date, he just immediately shows his tit at the table. Like,
Well, here's the thing.
I'm appreciative of my poor background. You want to fuck?
Do you guys have tattoos?
I don't.
No.
No. So if you have tattoos and a girl notices you have tattoos, she immediately wants to see every tattoo you have and have every backstory behind all the tattoos. That's so I'm not like, oh, do you want to see this tattoo? You're just like, oh, I have a tattoo on my chest, and the girl's like, let me see it. Let me see it.
Right. I would get a little.
You would know that
I
if
would
you
get
had
a
a tattoo.
smiley face on my ankle. Side note, I would get a little smiley
See, that's
face
fun.
on
Yeah.
my ankle. It's
Why? I
cute.
saw that a smiley
Or
face not in
heart.
your bathroom. Why the smiley face?
Bro, they're all over, man. I'm just trying to say sane out here, dude. Yeah, it's also funny. If you notice, dude.
Is that
you
like a
really look
motivational
around
thing
the
to keep you
apartment.
happy?
Yeah, I guess so.
I never noticed it before.
I kind of guess so. Yeah.
Dude, if it's that easy to keep you happy, you're not that sad.
Yeah.
Just a couple
I know,
smiley
dude. I'm
faces.
like, all right, dude.
Or-
as soon as I leave the apartment, too, got a quote up, and then just got the smiley
Yeah.
faces over there.
Or the
But yeah,
fact that you
bro.
have so many smiley faces
Keep
up means
everything
you're
light.
very sad.
I don't think so. I
That
think
could
it
be
means
true,
not
too.
that sad. Like, just imagine.
No,
walking in
that
his
could be
kitchen.
very. How many smiley faces do you have?
Are you
bro?
overcompensating on the smiley faces?
Yeah, I don't know. None of you guys have smiley faces in here, so I don't know what that's.
I gotta be
Because I have
honest.
Lexapro to make me happy.
There
so-
we go. I gotta be honest with you, Teddy. If I was a female and I walked into this apartment with you and I saw these smiley faces,
Yo, whoa, we've
I'd
asked
be like,
about
I'm
that.
gonna fucking die.
Wait,
I gotta go.
You guys think it's weird?
You're like, you can't leave. Doors already locked.
I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on it.
No, I don't. I think it's kind of funny because it's very your personality. It's
Right,
like
right,
very
right,
something
right,
Just,
right.
like, just like not dumb, but
Maybe
just like
endearing,
quirky.
maybe.
It's your own thing.
Right, right,
if
right.
you know
Like
you
I've
at all, you're
asked,
like,
like,
of course
who
they do
who
that.
do we ask? I don't know. I asked think I asked Christy on like the tennis player.
Yeah, she
WTA
lied.
tennis player.
She said she
lied.
liked
She's
it, but she
"No,
did
it's
not like
nice.
it."
It's very cute.
Told
He
him
was lying
afterwards.
straight to your
lied,
face.
bro. No, I mean I don't know.
Had
Maybe she
911,
actually
like, plugged in.
Yeah, she's like, all right, I'm out of here. Yeah, what a nice little talk we had there.
Yeah,
So
it's great.
Danny, I had the same question about you, bro. I've heard stories about where you grew up, but I want to hear the real thing, bro. So
Tell 'em-
where were you born, pal?
Tell him the virginity story. Get to it.
Oh,
Yeah,
when
you
I
can
was
get to that.
36
Get to
then.
that.
All right. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. The economy was terrible. My parents moved to Tampa, Florida, St. Pete, Florida first, so my dad could change careers and go to teaching.
Wait. St. Petersburg, Florida?
Yeah, we lived
St.
there for like 2
Pete.
years and then to
Okay.
Tampa.
Very nice.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then we just lived in this we were very poor. Like the church sent food for our family one night. 'Cause we didn't have any food.
What if
Like,
you don't
we were
if you
poor.
don't mind if you don't mind me asking when you say that? What did your parents do?
Well,
Or what
my
did your
dad was
pops
going
do?
to be a teacher, but he was in school to be a teacher, and my mom was a legal secretary. But I don't know. I don't know the exact circumstances, but we were poor. And then
Do you have any brothers and sisters? Sorry, just
yeah,
before you
I'm the
go.
oldest of 4.
Okay.
So, and then we lived on the funny part. Yeah, it's kind of funny. We lived on a mobile home on the property of a Christian school in St. Pete, Florida, Northside Christian School. It's still there.
You still see my shirt? Everybody
is dope.
Looking at home. Danny knows that apparently. That's
God
what it
wasn't that
sounds
dope
like.
because the principal didn't give me a scholarship. I had to ride my bike. I had to leave the school property, go to the public school because they didn't give me a scholarship, even though I lived in a trailer on the property of the school.
Is that
But
your
how
dad
did you
worked at?
how did you end
Yeah,
up?
and my dad worked out.
Wait, how did you end up living on it? Like, how did your dad get that hookup to park his
I think
trailer on the
His dad
property?
just parked it on the lawn and then popped all the tires and was like, I can't move this
Like,
thing.
that's it. Not even
This is where we
sort of-
live now.
No, but actually, how did that happen?
the trailer was the property of the school. They let us live in their trailer. I don't think we owned that trailer.
Jesus, I didn't know that. They let you live in the
I
trailer.
think
They're like, but
so.
you can't go to school here.
I know, dude. I would ride my bike out of the drive. The parents are driving their kids in. I would ride my little poor ass on my bike
Other way.
out of the other way. And even as a little kid, I know I was like, this is kind of fucked up. Like, why can't I go to that school?
That's kind of brutal, bro.
They did give me a scholarship the second year, but it was like that first year. I'm like, really, motherfucker?
That's in Ohio too.
That was in
Classic
Florida.
red state. Oh,
Florida.
Yep, same thing. Classic red
Jesus,
state, bro.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
So I still don't.
But then I got better. I mean, we moved to Tampa. We lived
Right.
in a normal, like,
Okay.
lower middle class. Probably similar to Zach's upbringing, actually. Probably one reason we're pretty good friends. We have kind of a similar upbringing.
I came up middle class, not lower middle class.
Fair enough.
Clear here. I never
Solid
lived in a
amount-
pla-
solid
I never,
difference.
Never lived in a place with wheels. Danny did. So
We
I thought
upgraded.
you said, yeah, but he popped the wheels. All right, it previously had wheels.
it had wheels until because he wanted to not have them kick him off the property of the school.
Well, as you go up the trailer tiers, you get a double wide, and then you put these slats on the bottom.
Yeah.
So there's not really wheels. I mean, you
Okay.
could, but
All right,
I do cover it up
I
to
do.
the classic.
This information seems a little irrelevant right now.
No,
Danny,
double wides are sick.
just kidding, just kidding.
Better than a single wide.
Wait, but Danny, so tell me about this virginity story that Zach was just
Oh my God, this is great.
chirping you on.
I think it just fills in a lot about his personality when he tells you the story.
Oh,
Interesting,
please,
interesting.
then give it to us.
Well, I didn't have sex till I was 23. I was in grad school.
That's
And
all you
then,
need to know.
Where were you in grad school?
Case Western Reserve University in
Ooh,
Cleveland.
dude, that's a fucking good school.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was great.
No, isn't it crazy that I know that? How many people actually know that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Case has got a pretty good
Okay,
reputation.
well,
but you're
okay.
right.
No,
it's not like it's not as well known as Harvard or
No,
Columbia.
but you know what I mean, bro? It's like
You're
if
right.
somebody went to Kenyon or fucking
I don't know. You just
Kenyon? Yeah.
Vassar. Vassar maybe
Maybe
was
Vassar.
but
Yeah,
like
Vassar.
something like the Swarthmore. Oh my God, nobody knows
Yeah,
Swarthmore. Something like that.
you're like, it's a really good school. I bet I'm the only one who knows about it, though. Okay.
Swarthmore sounds like something you would make up. Like I went to Swarthmore.
Yeah, bro, I would fucking say that. Also, wait, side note, I just bought a Harvard sweatshirt, and I just can't
Yeah?
wait. So everyone's like, "Did you go to Harvard, dude?" I'm like, "Nope."
Just
Is that why you bought it?
Yeah, so I bought it. Anyway, go ahead, Danny V.
So I was dating this girl, and she was like, I told her I'd never had a blowjob. She goes, "You've never had a blowjob?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Oh, you've got to have one of these."
Shut up! This is what a
the
nice
best.
girl.
Yeah, she was great.
It's also a classic, like you would think, line to get a blowjob.
That's what I was thinking.
That's like
I've
what
never
you
had
were
a
saying. Which
blowjob.
is like, oh, I got all these tattoos, and then they got mad at you before.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So did she blow you?
Yeah, she did. Oh, but I lost my virginity to her. We dated for like a year.
Oh, that's
I
sweet.
fucked her like 150 times. It was
Wait,
great.
Jesus, where is she?
Nice.
Where is she? Oh my God, where does she live now?
where-
I
did
don't
you
know.
bury her?
Danny did not
Under the
kill
trailer.
this woman.
It was 100
joking.
alive and
Jesus.
50 dead.
Space, what the fuck, dude? We have Zach McGovern and Danny Palmer blessing us with
like bringing that-
episode number 23. 23 as in Michael Jordan. but
Michael Jordan.
These guys don't quite compare
Chicago.
to Michael Jordan. But we do have a Chicago boy in here.
That's right. It's supposed to go.
Just
What's
kidding.
good?
These are two great guys.
Zach doesn't care about basketball.
You know what I mean?
I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
I am. I think
Okay.
I'm going to go.
Who plays in the Bulls? Who's their top player?
who plays in the Bulls? That would
Right now?
Jalen Rose.
Tell him.
Oh, all right. Okay. Where'd you see? You saw that on a news story in some girl's apartment?
I like how Danny makes fun of me for liking women. Like, oh, dude, did you go out with that girl last night? You fucking loser.
Hey, sorry to interrupt here, but let's get a word in from one of our sponsors. Are you looking for a stylish, comfortable winter hat while also curing your hangover? The hangover helmet will diminish headaches and increase relaxation by applying gel cooling packs directly to your pressure points. And Pat, guess what, man? They're going to be giving us $10 off today. Any order by typing in the code Ted Jones World. So again, the hangover helmet, and just type in Ted Jones World at checkout, and that'll get you $10 off. These things are stylish, so get yours today. So Zach, I want to bring up something that I've heard a lot about you. I've
good.
brought up stuff that I've heard about Danny, but I hear that you get into fights a lot. Kind of, is that true?
I have in the past.
So are you a changed man or something? Or
How
what
do
does
you
that- what does
define
that
the
mean?
past?
I mean, okay, so I'm 32 now. I think in my 30s I've calmed down a lot, just because I'm in my 30s and I've matured some. But I don't know. I think I've been in more fights than the average person. I mean, I would put it at my entire adult
What do you
life.
mean? Well, like fist fights? Because like average person, I don't think I've ever fully been in like a fist fight
Really?
situation. No, I never have.
I've probably been in over 100 since.
100?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's probably a low estimate.
100
but this
fist
is-
fights?
This is since I'm putting it since I was an adult of 18. Like since 18 to 32, that's a long time to get into 100 fights.
I mean, not really.
I've been in one.
You've been in one?
Yeah,
like
one.
brawl?
Yeah, it was a draw. Someone broke us up.
Draw. It's like Rocky
It was
one.
a draw.
Like it was a draw. We ended by kissing.
All right,
We're
but
dating.
you two smooch now. You two smooch. So it hasn't, not a lot, when you say recently, like not a lot within like the last few months, maybe.
The last
or
fight I
years.
got in was, I think, 2 months ago. 2.5 months ago.
What happens
Was it
in
right
this
before
time?
Christmas? Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, so what happens to you when you get in these fights? Like,
I mean,
just don't. I feel like you're saying that like that's a normal
Can
amount.
you ask
I
me
don't
these
think it's like-
questions?
no, wait. I want to hear from him, and then
I'm just kidding.
Feel free to
I'm not
also
gonna-
chime in. Go ahead.
Well, the good thing is that actually I'm happy Danny's here because he's been my friend for a long time and has
Yeah.
been out with me a million times. So he can
Right.
attest to the fact that people do like to fuck with me.
They do.
And like push my buttons. Like I don't know why, but
They're
certain
threatened by him
dudes
physically.
just like to fuck with me and like really come at me. And I give you every out. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then but
I can
once
see.
there's-
I can see that.
Like strangers, or you're like your friends,
No,
or just strangers? Really?
Complete strangers.
Tell me off the wagon story without saying that word.
Okay, so I went to this this bar in the Lower East. It's not off the wagon. What's the one in the Lower East?
Hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog. It was a Tuesday night. I was on a date with this girl. First date. We're sitting at the bar. It's like maybe 8 people at the bar, and the bar top itself probably holds 30 people. So there's plenty of room to like get past someone without hitting them to order a drink. This guy bumps into me like hard, and I looked over, and he just kind of looking at me like. So then I go back to talking to the girl for a couple minutes, and she goes, "Dude, that guy's like staring at you." And I kind of looked over because I'm like, these drunk idiots just could maybe hit me in the back of the head for no reason. So I turned around. I was like, "Hey man, how's your night going?" He just goes, "Okay."
oh, strike 2.
Yeah. So then I look back at the girl and she goes, "He's still looking at you." And at this point, I'm like, this guy's just going to hit me in the back of the head. So I turned around again and I was like, "Hey man, what's going on? Like, is something wrong?" Very nicely.
Yeah.
And, he just goes, "Nothing, man. You just look like a huge F word."
No.
Can you believe that?
Can I say that word or no? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't
Probably
say
not.
that.
Cool.
But I feel you. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then I
That's
go,
just see if that happened to me. Like, yeah, I'd probably fight.
yeah.
Right?
That's rude.
Just
bro.
unprovoked aggression.
But even
That's
at that
so
point, I
bizarre.
didn't fight him. I was just like, "What?" And he just goes, "You just look like a huge F." And I was like, "All right, man, just back away. Like, leave me alone. Get away from me." And he like backed away a little bit, and then he kept staring at me. And I turned around with the girl. She goes, "He's still. We should just leave." And I turned around. I was like, "Hey, man, I told you to back away from me. Like, get away from me. I don't want you near me." And his buddy walks up, and I'm like, "Thank God, here comes his friend to get this drunk idiot out of here." His friend's like, "What's going on?" And his friend's like a big, big dude, but like doughy big dude.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Dude, your friend just walked up here and called me the F word." And he goes- and I'm thinking he's gonna be like, "Sorry, he's a drunk idiot." He looks at
Yeah.
me, kind of pauses, and goes, "I mean, you do look like an F."
That's kind of funny.
Honestly,
That's
I'm on
kinda
that guy's
funny.
side.
That's kind of funny.
How did this
Good for
happen?
him for
I don't-
doubling down.
I don't. I don't approve of this.
No,
That's
that is fucked up.
crazy.
Yeah, but then there was a bunch of bouncers there, so they dragged the guys out, and the head bouncer was like, "Dude, I watched that whole thing. I'm surprised you didn't hit that guy sooner." And just ended up buying me. But I walked to that bar blitzed because all the
Right.
bouncers and the bartender just bought me drinks like the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But
Mommy.
that's a good example of stuff
Yeah.
that happens to me,
Yeah.
Okay.
throughout the years. So I'm never.
Okay.
What about in Scotland or Dublin?
Oh yeah, same type of story.
Guy just threw a bottle at him for no reason.
This guy threw a bottle
What?
at me. It was like 4 a.m. I'm walking home by myself in Dublin. This guy throws a bottle across the street at me.
Out of nowhere.
It almost hit me. I was not talking to this guy, looking at him, anything. I
Just
literally
starting with an
walked
attack.
past him. And as soon as I crossed the street, throws a bottle, and it almost hit me. And I turned around, and I was like, "What the hell?" And he's just like, "You effing tot."
He called you
People
a
do
tart.
just pick on you.
I know, but
Zach,
That's,
Zach
like,
can't
pretty
be a tart.
unprovoked.
What is a tart?
I think
It's like a
it's tart.
saucy
I
guy.
think that was like an English word. Maybe
I think a
It's
tart
like
is,
that.
is an English
Were
F.
you in London when this happened?
I was in Dublin.
Oh, that.
Tot.
Yeah, but to my point, I'm never the aggressive guy. Like, I'm never going up to somebody like, "Hey, man,
I've
what are you
also
looking
never
at?"
said. I've never seen you start a fight.
Unless
So,
he's
fair
overcharged
enough.
anywhere from 40
Unless-
cents to $5.
I think people just like to pick fights with, especially when they're drunk, with like big guys.
Yeah.
Because like my dad's a really big guy, and he used to tell me stories of like people used to fuck with him all the time, like unprovoked, would just come up to him drunk and just like try and start a fight, just because
Right.
you're like a
Shit.
big guy.
That's so
Yeah,
annoying.
and it's like most people aren't going to do anything. So
Yeah.
these guys, they've probably done it before, and no one's ever like stepped to them. But like, no, I'm not going to let you just. Come
Especially
up
when
to
they
me
have
and
like
talk
3
shit.
or 4 of their boys with them too. They get like they
Yeah.
get all tough because they have their boys there with them.
I have
Especially
a-
if you're by yourself with a girl, they're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But I also have a video of me in the West Village beating the shit out of 4 guys.
Dude, he stacked him up.
I
It's not-
stacked
Yeah,
like
really?
3 guys. On
He
the,
has
on
the
street.
video.
It was just
Can we
going-
play it on the pod?
Ninja.
I can.
Can we
send
put it
to
on the
you.
video
Yeah,
pod?
literally.
I can
Yeah,
send it
dude,
to
All
you.
play
right,
it.
we're gonna cut to the video of Zach beating up 4 guys.
Here it
Look
is.
at this. Just alternating between their heads.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Yeah. And that was an example, perfect example. I was at the bar. This guy just walks up to my girlfriend who's right next to me and just grabs her breast. So I put him in a headlock, got him kicked out. And then we were in the bar about another hour. I walk out with my girl, and him and 3 of his buddies are standing there.
We're still there?
What now, homeboy? What now?
my
And I was
God.
like, dude, get away from me.
Yeah.
And then he took a swing at me, and, I just did what I had to
that's
do.
it. Yeah.
I'm also a trained
Gotta
fighter.
do what you gotta do.
6-0 in MMA.
5-0.
5-0.
What, like actual
gave an extra
MMA
win.
fights? Or
Yeah.
like where does that go on? I
Not
had no idea
professional.
you were an MMA fighter.
Like outside of Chicago, like amateur level. But sanctioned MMA fights, like I have an amateur scorecard that's 5-0 with 3 knockouts.
My man.
Dope.
My man. All right, so the accolades are impressive, both of you, for sure.
Wait, can I say one thing about that?
yeah,
Look,
sure.
I read this
Go
article
ahead.
after this all happened in Psychology Today about intimidation. Apparently, there's a pretty common phenomenon amongst humans to feel threatened by large presences. And there are these 2 girls that were stuck. One of them broke their leg in a trail.
I know this.
And this guy was a poet, but he's like 6'4" with long hair. And he came up to them and he knew that they were going to be afraid of him. And he tried so hard not to scare them. And they just said, get the fuck away from us. And he was just like a poet, like medic guy. And they didn't let him help him because they were afraid.
When
Yeah.
was
It's like a
this?
natural human response to larger humans.
Was it the guy that wrote that? Where'd you
He
pull
was-
that fact from?
It was an article in Psychology Today about intimidation.
Oh.
It was just all of it made sense to me when I read the article. I'm like, this is Zach's life right here.
Yeah.
It's,
And
just, it's basic evolution. Bigger creatures can hurt you,
Yeah.
so thus you have to fight them or flee from them.
Right. Okay. So now we're talking about, we'll talk about initially the dinosaurs here on this earth. You're talking about being bigger and scary. Let's talk about, what brought the
Say that again.
earth to existence, guys. I assume that space came before Earth. So
Well,
why
Big
don't
Bang.
you guys give us some? Yeah. Why don't you guys give us some? I don't know. Give us some
Nice segue.
pointers. Give us some
it works. Oh,
interesting
good.
talk about just stuff that's actually gone on during the show that's been super interesting that you guys actually remember from recording from like past guests or whatever. Just let's talk a little bit about that.
To quote Teddy, dinosaurs are big, and so is space. You guys now.
It's like an NPR podcast.
know, dude. That was very fresh.
Well, explain
It
a little
works.
bit first,
It
like
works.
what your podcast is actually about. Like, what do you guys mostly talk about?
So our
on your
podcast is obviously, it's called Space What the Fuck Dude.
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah, there's variations of the title, but it's Space What the Fuck Dude. The idea behind the podcast is we're both very interested in space. We're both comedians. We've been friends for a long time. Let's just talk about space and bullshit for an hour. And I think it's a good mix of both. Some episodes are like 90% us shitting on each other, but we do get
It's our
space.
sweet spot.
We get space stories in there no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, we're just like blown away by. I mean, I feel everybody on the live should be blown away by space. It's insane. So, like, but if you listen to a space podcast or watch a nature documentary, it's kind of dry and drab a little
Exactly.
bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're just like comics that are like blown away. We think it's funny and interesting to just talk about crazy shit out there, and it just enhances your perspective on the world and life. And
Yeah, in a fun way.
yeah,
So I mean, give us some things that you guys speak about, or you guys have like research that you guys are like, all right, what the hell?
should we give him a
What
space
the
quiz,
F?
John?
Oh, let's do a space
You want a couple
round.
space quizzes?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Pat. I mean,
I
is your hat
studied
playing?
for the
I-
episode, so
Did you?
no.
Okay, you're in.
All right, well, all right, let's do it. So give us some questions. We'll let we'll see if I can get these. We'll see if you can get these, Pat.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, Mike.
I
Go
got one.
ahead. Go ahead.
How long does it take light from the sun to reach Earth?
7 days.
7 days?
Yeah.
You did not study.
I was gonna say 7 years.
Well, I was
but-
wait.
How far away is the sun from Earth? That might help you.
Um,
Do you know how far away the sun is from Earth?
yeah, like three,
you're right.
like 3 million miles.
That's incorrect.
We would be on fire.
We don't be dead,
Damn it. It's crazy how like you just forget.
See? That's
space
why it's
stuff.
funny.
Yeah, it is funny. You can just guess people with
Like,
like people saying
way
the
off.
dumbest stuff. I don't even know. Like,
Dude, some people don't know that the sun is a star.
It's not.
okay, I knew that. I knew that.
No, it
I knew
is.
that.
I'm
just kidding.
I knew that.
I mean, that's what the most interesting
you
Wait,
don't know
wait.
that.
I was
Okay,
kidding.
so but go back to the question just so we can. I guess I'll say 8 years.
Okay, so how long does light take to get from the sun, our star,
Yeah.
to Earth?
Right, 8 years.
8 years?
Sure.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Close.
Oh.
Wrong measurement, but he had the 8 was
Yeah,
correct.
I meant 8. It was
You
one of
meant 8
those
minutes.
minutes, seconds, years.
What's the
minutes.
speed of light?
Side.
I always
Speed
forget.
of light is 186,000 miles per second, and it takes 8 minutes for the light to get here.
It's 93 million miles away.
Isn't that insane?
So maybe I vaguely remember this. So if the sun blew up, it would take us
Take
8
8
minutes to
minutes,
see it.
Yeah.
that like.
Or if it
kinda-
went out, we'd have 8 minutes.
It went
we had
out.
8 minutes of light. If it
Yeah.
burned out,
We have
yeah.
an
Just
8-minute
like a
party.
fresh,
Just
like,
yeah.
that was
Flickers
it.
and then
Yep,
and
that's
then
how
we
it's gonna
all die
happen.
almost immediately.
Scientifically.
I don't think we would die immediately, but it would get cold
Yeah.
very, very fast.
Yeah, I think it would be unbearably cold within.
We'd have
That's
like
a good
15
question for our.
minutes, maybe?
Let's
That
figure
is
that
a good
out.
question.
Good question.
I don't think
How
you'd
long
have
will we
long would it
have when
take?
the sun switches off? Maybe another 8
Switch it
minutes?
off.
Well, it's not.
Well,
gonna,
it's
it's
not- it's
going
gonna
to
blow
consume us. It's
Yeah.
going to consume us first, and then it's
Wait,
going to.
why? How many billions of
That
miles
is a
away
certified
it?
fact that the sun is going to consume the Earth
Yep.
at some day.
What does that mean? Just like the Earth is gonna come too close to the sun, and it's gonna.
Well, the sun is
blow
gonna
up?
like expand, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
gonna,
think the sun's
and then
gonna
it's gonna.
expand. Ultimately, the
burn
all
out.
stars either explode or
Yeah.
they implode.
So
Implode.
is
They
the sun getting?
black
Is the
hole.
sun getting
That,
bigger?
and then we'd get
It
sucked
is.
into the black hole.
The sun's getting.
Or is it too
bigger.
far away?
No, it'll implode, and then usually that turns into a black hole.
But are we close? Are we far enough away that it wouldn't affect, like, because the black hole sucks things into it, right?
No, we'd all be fucked.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to be
So I
fucked
thought-
before then. The Earth will be
Right.
fucked when the sun consumes the Earth.
Yeah, and then it'll explode and then implode.
Then
You can
implode.
see
Ah,
it
okay,
happen all over
okay.
the universe in
All right,
pictures.
wait.
And that's
Time
our
out.
path.
Hold
That's our
on. Can
destiny.
I just get a freaking word
I'm
out
into
here?
that. No.
And what about
No,
when you
host.
guys? What
It's
about
my
when you
podcast.
guys? What about when you guys? But like, what about when you guys initially have the like sun coming towards the Earth? Is that what's going to happen when you say consume the Earth?
It just
I don't
gets
understand.
larger and larger, and
The
then
sun.
the gravity becomes stronger because it becomes a larger body. So then the gravity pulls in, and the planets that are around it.
You guys sound like scientists. Either of you have science backgrounds fully besides space, or
I
you
have
just
a-
thought it was interesting?
Middle school biology background.
Zach is more science oriented than I am, though. He likes that detailed, in depth, like chemical physics kind of stuff.
Okay.
I like more of like the size of the universe and the philosophical ramifications of
Right.
it.
Danny's
Zach is
very
more
philosophical.
technically oriented.
There was definitely cool
Yeah.
stuff in science in high school, for sure. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Danny, give us the next question, bro, for
Space
this
Okay.
little quiz.
I got two back to backs that are great. These are fun to do in bars too.
you
Okay.
answer?
How
Oh,
many?
Everyone
what?
take note. This is very chill to do it at a bar with your boys.
Yeah.
Or with Jakes.
Or if- yeah,
Apparently
you-
girls love space quizzes
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
tattoos.
Tattoos. Go ahead, Danny.
Girls do.
P.
Okay. How many Earths theoretically could fit inside of Jupiter?
Jupiter?
Yeah. Jupiter is the largest planet. in our
Okay,
solar
okay,
system.
okay. Thank you for
Oh,
that.
the sun is the largest planet. No, it's
sun
a
is
star, Teddy.
not
It's
a planet, you
star.
I gotta
fucking
be honest,
moron.
whoever said Jupiter sounded like they didn't know Jupiter was a thing.
Jupiter? Who said Jupiter? Me? Well, I was talking about because I was just like, what the hell? Like, I didn't know which planet was, what size for right now.
Did you forget?
No, I remember.
8 million?
That's a very high guess.
I was going to say
I don't think
10.
so.
10 million.
That's all. It's very low guess. You're both wildly off.
No. He said
10 or 10 million.
Oh, 10 million?
no 10.
10 Earths.
10.
It's 1,300.
Okay. well,
1,300.
So I was
Earths.
closer.
Earths, yeah.
But that is lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 30,000, I think.
You know
I
what?
said.
Also, you
Right.
saying it's the biggest planet, like that's why I also threw in like the extra, zeros on that answer.
Yeah.
So
Well,
then-
okay. So then the follow-up question is how many Earths could fit inside the sun?
This is much
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Well,
This
and
was this.
I
is,
just learned this like 2 weeks ago.
is this 3 million?
It's no, it's lower.
Danny's like, yeah, I forgot.
No, I remember this one too. I might have the Jupiter one off by a little
I don't know. I've been sounding like an idiot. I'm going to stop guessing.
You have to guess.
Dude,
part of this
me over here.
part of the space quiz is you have to guess.
Okay. All right. Fine.
You fucking moron.
But it is fun when you get wrong answers. because
Yeah,
It
yeah.
shows you how much we don't know. about
Yeah.
space.
So how many Earths can fit in the sun?
Yeah. Just keep the dead air as long as
13,000. I'm doing math that I don't know how to do. Just trying to make it sound like I'm doing calculations in my
Yeah, he's
head.
just bobbing his head side
Yeah.
to side.
800,000.
1,300,000.
Okay, that was good. That was good.
Dude,
that was good.
what?
That was good.
Also, initially, weren't you saying 13,000?
I don't remember.
You guessed that? All right,
Yeah, there's a
I
couple
don't
of.
remember it.
Also, we have this probe that's going towards the sun, and we also have a telescope that's looking at the sun. And we're learning all the shit. There's
Oh, they
plates-
just made that, right?
Yeah, there's like
They
popcorn-sized plates on the
saw
sun,
that.
the size of Texas.
Texas. Yeah, I saw that.
Texas, like thousands of them.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tiny plate.
What?
because
And
it's-
the
yeah.
sun is like like one of the smaller stars,
It
right?
is, yeah.
There's
I think
ones
so.
that are like 20 times bigger. I've seen like a
Oh,
video on YouTube where it shows the sun and it looks like this, and then like to scale, it's like this
Yeah.
other star that's this.
So there's a galaxy near us called the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yeah.
Their star is massive compared to the sun.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the more that you learn, the more you learn how much you don't know, and the more mind blowing it is.
That's the scariest thing about space. It's just like it's so vast and I can't even think about it because it just makes me
Dude, it's infinite.
think too much
and
and I get
expanding.
nervous.
Yeah.
So I guess the question, talking about it being infinite and expanding, bro,
Which is insane. What does that mean?
Are we the only people here? Are we the only like living beings that could communicate with one each other in this advanced world? Are there other worlds that are just as advanced as this? Not robot-like, but like, with our limbs and all this. I mean, I'm sure, we're talking about how big everything is.
Based on the findings thus far, we have to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
The
But what do you
Pentagon-
mean thus far?
Because we haven't had anything to show us that there is extraterrestrial life anywhere that is either, single cellular, multicellular, or intelligent.
So you think that we are the only
I
people
don't.
here?
No, I think that there is intelligent life in the universe, but I'm just saying if you want to say it as fact, the
Right.
fact now stands as no.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the
And we are
Pentagon.
the only ones.
But okay, so what is the deal? Area 51, I know has like a lot of alien activity.
I think it's 52.
No, that's not human. What?
Oh, was it 51?
Yeah,
It's
You
51.
literally don't know that it's Area
Danny,
51.
Area 52.
Area 50. Well, I've actually been admitted to Area 52. I shouldn't have told you guys that,
Yeah.
but it's a little more
Bob
Danny
Lazar.
sophisticated.
is a spy. Anyway, we'll cut that out.
Is Area 52 the
Go
front
ahead.
lawn of the
Wait,
school he parked on?
Yeah. Okay. The Pentagon has released videos of aliens buzzing F-18s off the coast
Oh
of San
yeah,
Diego.
the Tic Tac.
So like it's an admitted fact that there are other creatures out there that have visited us.
But the way they skirt the system is they're not admitting that they're aliens. They're saying they're UFOs, which by definition is an unidentified flying
yeah.
object.
Well, we literally
So
don't
they're
know.
not saying,
Yeah.
well, it's an alien. They're saying we don't know what it is.
But it's
It's not- but
aircraft that doesn't move in any way that
gravity
our
allows it.
technology
The
would allow.
takeoff
it.
speed
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
stop
it's
and
obviously not
combustion
like
is-
somebody's drone that they're flying. That's just
Exactly.
like completely different from anything anybody on Earth has ever seen. But I don't know. I feel like maybe in our solar system, there's no people like when I don't
agree
know.
with that.
I have no
Living
idea.
beings.
Have you heard Neil deGrasse Tyson's take on it? He says that he thinks that if there are other extraterrestrial beings, they're so advanced that they've probably already found out about us, and we're just like not worth their time of contacting us. So they've seen us, they look at us, and they're like, these beings are so inferior and archaic compared to us that they just don't even bother.
Well, it could also be the other way around. No.
What?
That they're afraid of us?
That we
Could be.
are like super advanced and they can't.
But
figure
if they
it out.
have already gotten to us and seen us, then no, we'd have to be more advanced.
By definition.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't. If they can get here, they're more advanced.
Right.
Just by that fact.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
because we can't get to them. We don't
We
even
can't
have
even
any
get to Mars
signs
yet.
that they're.
I
We
disagree
haven't
with
been to
what
Mars
Neil
yet.
deGrasse Tyson says because, if they're so much more advanced, look at us, for example. We're way more advanced than, let's say, ants, but we study the shit out of ants.
Right.
Why wouldn't they want to study?
Yeah, that's one of his.
Yeah.
There was three. He's like, there's three theories that I have, and that was one of them. But I can't remember the others.
There's
But-
another one that aliens are currently here,
right.
and that's from the movie Men in Black.
Yeah.
Which could be.
I mean,
the
it could be
most-
true if they're
could
way
be
more
the
advanced
most
than us.
true.
But the theory behind that is that they're already here, but they're not in the form of life that we can perceive.
Mhm.
So they're a different. Like we're carbon based. We're oxygen and water based life forms. There could be silicon based life forms. There could be other life forms that are based on different materials that we don't know and we can't even perceive it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really make sense, but it does kind of.
No, totally. If you think of it, outside of the 10% of your brain that we all, only use, a lot of
I've heard that's not
a
true,
lot
by
of
the way.
stuff is crazy. What?
I've heard that's not. That's
10%
a fallacy.
is not the
Yeah,
the right
I've heard it's
amount?
higher. Though. I heard that's an incorrect.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I've
we're
heard it's
Googling
look
that
that up.
right now.
Let's check it out.
I don't know.
John.
Bradley Cooper did it in Limitless, and he unlocked his whole brain. So
He was pretty good in that movie.
Did he
so-
start
I
out with
believe
10%,
that.
Pat? Did he start out?
Scientific reference.
Wait, Pat, did
So,
he start
I'm gonna
out
go
with
with
10?
that.
Did he start out with 10% in that movie?
I don't know. He
Well,
just
he
takes
started
a
out
pill where he unlocks the rest of his brain.
He started with normal brain power.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is 10% if we're taking this.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
Does that count? Right?
Wait, say it again. 10% what? But
We're talking about Bradley Cooper in the movie.
If he started
I
out
haven't
with
seen it.
normal brain power, which is 10%, yeah.
Yeah.
When he started out with 10%.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the
I think
argument is
that
we're
that's-
not sure if it's 10%.
Look at
that's
this. Okay.
inaccurate.
Okay, so it says share on Pinterest studies have debunked.
Dude,
the
I'm
myth.
not. Don't take
Pinterest
Cher's
studies.
opinion for
All
it.
right, Jesus. Okay, wait.
Cher doesn't know shit about this.
Welcome to
Okay,
our
ready?
podcast where Danny
Um,
just bullies.
okay.
She's like, I have a
ready?
lot of thoughts on it.
Here we go. According to a survey from 2013, around
Interesting.
65%.
A survey?
Guys, shut up. 65% of Americans believe we only use 10% of our brain.
Not an
But this is
answer.
just a
I don't
myth.
care about that.
That's
According
what
to an interview.
We're taking a survey amongst ourselves, but we're trying to find a factual article.
Welcome to Teddy didn't proofread this article first.
Did you guys know that some people think some things about other things? Cool.
This is a survey.
Teddy's just furiously at work. I get it, man. Well, people, one of the
Regardless, what were we talking about before that?
One of the funny things about our podcast,
I don't think there's okay. Well, cut to this part. I don't think there's an actual.
We'll just say we use 10%.
Yeah, we'll just say for now.
But it's probably not
But
true.
around there,
The
they're
wrong
saying
thing.
no. They're saying that it's a myth. Of these articles, I have not found one that actually knows, and I'm sure that it's very hard to process because everybody uses a different amount of their brain for sure.
I mean,
I would
You
think.
think?
now the only way they can figure that out is with like fMRI, which part of your brain lights up at certain times. So they
Right.
would be able to give you certain tests
Right.
to see the different parts that light up.
Quickness and
then
whatever it is.
Whatever part lights up, that's the part that's being used. So then you take that versus the part that's not lit up and be like, oh, okay, I guess it's this percentage. Right?
Yeah,
that sounds
that's
like a
true.
simple way to do it.
Danny, who are you texting over there, bro?
Not a girl.
It better be a chick, man. It better be a date.
No.
Better be a date lined up.
Wait, before we get off the alien topic,
yeah,
have you
yeah,
guys
go.
have you guys talked about have you seen Bob Lazar? That
Yeah.
have you guys talked about that on the podcast?
No, not yet. That's a
What
good,
do you guys think about him?
I think he's boring.
Who is he again?
But do you
Yeah,
believe
just-
anything he said? Do you believe he worked at the S4?
Plug that guy though.
Yeah, you
Plug
gotta plug
him?
him for people who don't know who he is.
Bob Lazar is this quote unquote scientist from I think the 70s.
He's on Rogan too, right?
He was on Rogan. I like that. The documentary was a little weird, but
Yeah.
he was
I know
on.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he claims he's a scientist that claimed to have worked at I think it was called S4. Was it base?
I think he worked at Area 52.
He was a pilot.
It was
It's
basically
53.
it's basically another base in the Nevada desert near Area 51 that he claims to have been hired to work. He got recruited there to basically reverse engineer alien spaceships that the government found. So they found alien spacecraft that didn't use any kind of combustion. So they weren't regular combustion vehicles. So they didn't use gas or anything. They basically moved by manipulating gravity in front of them. So there was no gravity pushing against them, so they can move freely.
That's high tech, buddy.
Yeah. So he claimed to have reverse engineered them, worked on them that came from like the Zeta Reticula star system or something like that. And
That's my favorite
basically
star system.
there's video home video of him taking out his friends to where they used to do the flight test.
It's super blurry, right?
It's super blurry, yeah. So there's like videos of these like lights moving in like weird directions that like a normal aircraft couldn't travel in. Basically, he's saying that his story is that he reverse engineered these crafts at this base.
Yeah, the suspicious.
But there's a lot of like
things
you have to
that
see more about it, but
And I don't know. I don't remember if he said it on Rogan, but he saw those like studies from the Navy and Air Force, or not studies, but the videos from the Air Force and Navy where those UFOs are flying around like that. And he was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I worked on.
Yeah.
That type of, that's how our stuff moved."
yeah.
So he was like backing that up. A lot of people believe him. A lot of people think he's a quack.
yeah.
So what do we think about
That's wild.
Anytime I see something like that, I go on Reddit and read because people on Reddit are crazy. They have no lives, some of them, and they'll like
They deep
completely expose people. And my take is that he's full of shit. But
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he's been through it too. He has like 2 divorces. Like
Yeah.
he's like fully invested in this.
Yeah,
If
he's-
it's a lie, he's like taking
fully
it to the
like
grave.
I believe him.
Have you
You
seen?
believe him, Danny?
I don't know this guy. I don't
Just
know about
watch,
it.
listen to the Rogan
Lazar.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Bob
Anyway,
Lazar.
this is just some guy who just says that like, there's been aliens and shit that like are for sure here because the spaceships that they developed wouldn't stay up in gravity. Like they would just come down.
Well, he had to
Right.
reverse engineer them because they were here. So he had to like take them apart and try to figure them out and like
And then
figure
he
out
was
the
like,
technology.
yeah, it doesn't work.
Rogan also had one of those fighter pilots on that saw.
Yeah, he had the I saw the
That's who I
Tic
thought
Tac.
you were talking about. Yeah.
No, yeah, he
Tic
had
Tac.
that guy too.
Yeah.
That was
guy
really
I
interesting
believe
too.
because he's a fucking
Well, yeah, he's
decorated
a-
pilot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy's like some quack from. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is
Scientific
true.
kook.
But that's what you want to think. You immediately
Right,
want to be
exactly.
like, is he a quack? Because
Yeah.
we don't know anything different. But like, imagine if we find out that that's all true and they're like, shit.
Fuck.
Yeah, like we should have believed him at
Bob
the
Lazar,
time
dude.
that he said that. So like when somebody tells you something that's like crazy out of the blue, maybe you should believe them
Yeah.
or maybe you should not. And this next segment, guys, I'm very excited for this.
Segue.
We have something that we do every week, and it's called.
Nope, that's not it.
Nope, it's not called that.
World.
And it's
Which
called.
one
We
is?
need to
I wanted
put
to
little
have a
things
segment.
on there.
I don't know where it went. It might not be here anymore. Okay, now they saw all
baby.
of our sounds.
Yeah, now you guys heard everything.
I might have replaced it. I might have replaced it with
Fat Baby, Rivington and Essex.
We don't have it?
No, we
Every
don't
Wednesday
have
at
it.
10.
All right, anyway, this is the part of the show that we call.
Getting cut.
Okay, no. This is the part of the show where we just talk about things that are going on in the world. Maybe something between you guys is here, or maybe other people, friends. But just stuff that has like maybe annoyed you in the past few weeks, and we just want to know about it. So we call this segment "Don't Do That." So why don't you guys give us something, maybe annoying that your boy did, or maybe Danny did, or Zach did. You guys are looking at each other right now, so I'm suspicious.
Take
What the heck?
lead here?
Absolutely.
Well, okay,
please
just
do
be
it.
warned that if you go down that path that I think you're wanting to go down, then I'm going to reply in a way that you're not going to like.
I don't
gonna,
care if
Oh,
you don't, if
dude,
I don't like it.
more,
Yeah, but I'm gonna
more the merrier.
I'm going to give up your
please.
shit because that's half the reason I was mad about it. So
No, you have to just stick on top of it.
No.
All right,
Well,
this is getting juicy, Pat.
then don't bring it up.
I'm excited for this.
if you bring it up,
because-
I'm going to. Part of my defense is to talk about that.
Bring it up,
and if
dude.
you hold out
Dude,
arm behind my
bring
back,
it
that's
up.
an unfair fight.
Bro,
This
bring
is
it
not,
up.
No, if you can't
Bring
talk
it
without,
up.
yeah, that's shitty.
But
move,
that's the
dude.
point of that's my fucking half my point. So I
you
can't
didn't discuss that with
defend
me.
myself if you don't let me talk about that.
Okay,
so
why don't-
thus
okay, how
we
about
shouldn't
this?
talk about that on the air.
How about this? You go from your point of view without being
is
shitty
great.
in that angle, and then I'll rebuttal based on what you say. How about that?
I don't think this is a good idea. I think we
it's
should
a
talk
good
You know
about.
what? We can
I like
always,
those
if it's
parameters.
bad,
I think
we
that's
can
I'm talking
good.
about this
No,
on
he's
Ted
cut it if
Jones's
it's bad.
World podcast.
No, this is what he wants.
Well, we can
He wants to
snip
cut it if it's bad, or he can cut it if it's bad.
But the entire thing is something you don't want to talk about.
I don't care. Go ahead, and we'll see if it's too much. If it's too much, I'll say cut it.
So it seems like these guys had maybe a fight with each other. I don't know if I want to say fight, maybe disagreement.
Big
But
disagreement.
a lot of bickering over here as to whether or not to speak about it, and they're going to
I
speak
think you should
about
speak
it. So
about it.
go ahead, speak on it.
Go ahead, Danny.
What
I will
happened?
follow your lead.
What is the
pal.
deal, Danny?
Okay, so the history of it is that back in the day, Zach would sometimes be competitive with me on girls, and then do this thing where he would be like, I know that girl likes you, but she actually confided that she really likes me. And he's done it to me like 3 or 4 times. And then he did it again on Friday where I'm talking to a girl and then I go in the bathroom and he's like professing to wing me with her. But the thing that he doesn't take into account in his side of the argument here is, and I'm totally over this. We're boys, but like
Me too, but I'm
the
gonna
thing is
defend
that
myself.
the thing is that you're in
Doesn't
Zach's
sound like it.
in Zach's head. I know I'm shaking with rage. No. In Zach's head, he's like, well, the words and actions, the words that I said were perfectly logical and make sense in the back of my argument. But my point is, after I talked to this girl and was making good progress with her, I watched him leer at her, look her up and down. And that's the part that you're not factoring in. That pisses me off. That's why I was mad, because of the leering, not because of the words.
But immediately in my defense, I'm a man. I can check out a woman anytime I want. I could check out your wife. It doesn't matter. I can
yeah, but that's not a nice thing to do to
How
your
is it
friend,
not nice to
especially
check out a
when we
woman?
have a history of that problem.
I can't look at a woman. You want me to look away because you're gonna get pissed off about
leer.
it?
Yeah, I watched what you did, dude. You looked her up and down and leered.
Was I jerking off while I was doing it? I was just looking at it.
Dude, I'm telling you what you did, and that's what made me mad.
Explain
and that's what
leer.
you're not
What-
taking into account in my
what's the
response.
difference between checking out a woman and leering?
Also, I was blackout drunk, dude, and it's 3:30 in the
real
morning.
story.
Well, I mean, those are all factors.
But explain
But
leering.
it's bigger than, because Zach said he's like, I'm 100% right, Danny's 100% wrong. But there's gray area that you're not taking into account.
Well, I
here.
also don't think a lot of people use the word leering anymore.
Ogling,
explain
if you
it
will.
to people.
This happens every single episode on Space. What the fuck, dude? I'm actually going to hop in here because I don't want you guys to start throwing bows.
No, this is what we do every
it's
time.
No, I know, but
But can I
absolutely,
can I rebuttal
absolutely agree.
before-
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Keep talking about it.
I want to rebuttal. and then
Leering.
I want you to jump in.
Go ahead. I don't need to jump in. This
No,
is
I
between
don't-
you guys. Is go ahead. Well, this is the don't do that. So what's the don't do that here?
I don't disagree that I did check her out because that's my
She's hot.
that's my behavior. I check people out. But in my defense, I was standing in back. You called me up to join the conversation. I was letting you
Of course.
be, and you wanted me to join the conversation. So I was wingmanning you. You go to the bathroom. You're saying I've done this a couple times before. Yeah, because it has happened. As soon as you go to the bathroom, she verbatim said, "I'm not going to fuck your friend. I hope he knows that." And I was like, all right, well, we're just talking. We're all hanging out. Like, we just bought drinks. Like, let's chill. And she's just like, well, I just want you to know I'm not going to fuck him. Why aren't you hitting on me? And I was like, what?
She led with that?
On my fucking life, she said that. She goes, why aren't
This
you
was
hitting
on
me?
Friday?
She said, it's
Yeah,
weird that
this past week.
he's the only one hitting on me. Why aren't you hitting on me? And I was like,
Jesus.
Well, I didn't know any of that
yeah,
until 2 days later, but then he's furious at me without me knowing that information,
because
which is
he
unfair.
snapped off on me the next day.
No, I didn't stop on you the next day.
I told her, my immediate response was, I was like, oh, well, first of all, I have a girlfriend. Second of all, he started talking to you first. So that's like bad bro behavior. I'm not just going to come in and try to swoop when he's in the bathroom. Like, if you tell him you're not interested and then you want to talk to me, that's a different story. But I'm not
Okay.
going to swoop. And I was like, that's not what I'm going to do. That's just bad bro behavior. And she was like, oh, well, I think you should be hitting on me. And I was like, let's just chill and have a drink. And then Danny comes back, and first thing he says to her is, you know, Zach has a girlfriend, right? Zach, why don't you go find your own girl? Go find your own girl. And at this point, I'm like, dude, you called me over to hang out. Like, this is weird behavior.
Okay, I mean, again, it's 3:30 in the morning. It's a black hat night when I'm out partying all night. I'm not saying I'm perfect. My behavior is perfect. I've apologized for yelling at you. Yes. But there is context and history to the whole situation that I think is fair to take into account. It's not just you're 100% right and I'm 100% wrong.
But I have never, ever swooped and taken a girl from you. So why do you have past history? Yes, you have past history with the girl telling me that, and I've told that to you because I'm your friend, that she has said to me, hey, I want to talk to you instead. That's what I would do as a friend, but I have never stolen a girl from you.
Well, remember G had to have that conversation with you to be
Julio
like, why does you're the only friend that and I know that you're better now, but I guess I have PTSD or something because sometimes it just triggers me, and you looking up and down just triggered the whole thing for me. And okay, maybe that's my fault and I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you, it's not just me being a prick. Like there's that whole context to
my
it.
point still stands. I have never ever stolen a girl from you. So why do you have history with me unless I like literally was like, nope, sorry, Danny, she's into me, I'm taking her. I've never done that. So
I know, and I know you're much better about it now. But I just at 3:30 in the morning when I'm drunk, I slip back into that because I watched you look her up and down. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that is what caused my actions.
Okay, but in my defense,
you just have this attitude like I'm just completely wrong and you're completely right, and I don't think that's fair,
dude. Because if I was talking to a girl and I saw you look up and down, I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, Danny thinks she's hot too. That's right. I'd be like, hell yeah, dude.
Well, I don't do that shit that you used to do in the past. So that's the difference.
All right.
Whatever. But I don't know, man. I said I'm sorry, but I'm just, the thing that annoys me a little bit is that you think I'm just like completely wrong and you're completely right, and then there's gray area here.
I just think that it's weird that you're thinking like drunk male behavior of looking at a woman up and down is like a bad thing to do. Like just because you started talking to her 10 minutes before that, I have to like look at the ceiling now.
No, I'm not saying you have to look at the ceiling.
Can't look at this
you have
girl,
to
Danny's
leer
gonna
at
get
her
mad.
right after I was working on her, so to speak, and then you were like looking her up and down. And the fact that you have a girlfriend adds a level of irritation to me. I'm like,
so what?
Okay, well that's your perspective. I'm telling you mine.
Look a girl up and down if I have a girlfriend.
What do you guys think? Hit us up on Ted Jones World. Email us, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. Let's get it back. No, seriously, I'm hearing 100% what you guys are saying, both of you. I hear where Danny's coming from because, like, if there's a history in the past, he's getting nervous.
It's a sore
about.
subject.
But at the same time, you're saying Danny can do that and look all up and down. He's never done that. So, like, that's why, like, if he had done it, then like I can see like where you guys would both be on even playing fields. Yeah. But you guys really aren't on like like you guys both are like arguing separate things. Like I understand what he's saying, and I understand what Danny's saying, what Zach's saying.
And I understand, and I've apologized.
Pat,
what's your feedback?
I hear both too. I think you're more getting not exactly the looking up and down is what you're mad at, more of that there's a history of that. And that
just
kind of
triggered
it. Triggered.
So it was just 3:30 a.m.
I would probably look her up and down too, if I'm being totally honest.
Of course, she was hot.
Yeah,
that's something I need to work on myself, and I've acknowledged that, and I've apologized for it.
Also,
I hear both ears.
The thing that's annoying to me is like the minute Danny starts talking to a girl, then he wants me to like fuck off, and it's like,
not
dude,
we've been off, just not leer.
No, because we were hanging out at that point for like 4 hours, and then you're like, even I was trying to go home before that. Like, dude, let's go to one more bar. Come on, let's go to one more bar. Dude, we'll have one more drink. I'm like, all right, fine.
I don't know about that.
I swear to God, you made me go to the library. I wanted to go home. I was like, fine, I'll have one more drink with you. You're like, all right, dude, just one more bar. We go in there. You start talking to this girl. A minute later, you're like, dude, go find your own girl, dude.
It wasn't a minute later.
What is going on here?
I think some creative liberty.
Okay, 5 minutes later. It was
timeline.
It was a quick circumstance. Literally, we had ordered drinks. Drinks were still full. That's when you told me to like go find your own girl. Get away from me, dude. Go find your own girl. Because I had to go sit at the other end of the bar and drink my drink.
Why didn't you just go talk to another girl when I went to the bathroom? Why did you have to keep talking to her?
I was wingmanning you. You told me to come up and wingman you. That's what you told me to do. So I did that. And then you get mad about it. That's what's upsetting.
Leering is not winging.
Danny, while you were in the bathroom, I could have easily taken her based on her information. I backed you up and was like, nah, he started talking to you first.
Wow, thanks for not easily taking her. You see what I'm saying? This isn't like a friendly thing that you're...
Maybe
no other friend I have has these conversations with me.
What she said to me is why I'm saying that. She said, why aren't you hitting me? I want you to hit on me. And I said, no, I have a girlfriend. Plus, Danny's my boy. He started talking to you first.
I appreciate that.
That's wingmanning you.
And also, I didn't know any of this. I know it now in hindsight, but I didn't know it then. And that's another thing that bothers me is that you're holding me accountable for things I didn't know at the time.
So you want
That's
me
not
to,
fair.
You want me to call out this girl?
I want you to give me a little
you?
fucking leeway and not be so furious against me.
I wasn't furious that night. I was just like, Danny, you're being a fucking psychopath. Have fun.
He got off stage and the next day at New York Comedy Club, flicked me off, didn't watch my set, like yelled at me in the green room. I'm like, dude,
Ouch.
fucking give me a break.
Also,
man.
because that morning
Let's
in
chill
text
a little
message,
bit.
that morning in text message, he's with this girl in bed and he's taking her side. He's like, well,
No.
this is what she
Oh,
said. This
okay.
is what she
Wait,
said. This
whoa,
is what she
what?
said.
You were
Did
with the
go
girl
on
in
bed?
bed.
So like
Nice.
you guys still
Nice.
know each other now?
So what's the argument
Yeah,
though?
what's
She
the
went home
beef?
with you.
Because I don't know. 'cause
You
I was
won in the end.
I was texting back and forth with Zach, and I told her, I was like, he's saying that he wasn't hitting on you at all, and I swear, I mean, I'm not saying she's right or wrong.
believe you,
I'm just
but
telling you.
sure.
Just say, yeah. She just goes. She looked at me like dead serious. She was like, he was definitely hitting on me, and then I'm like, and that's her, man. But I feel like you're holding me accountable for her sins a little bit, and that's not fair.
No, but also because you're supposed to be my boy. If there was a girl sitting in my bed and she was like, Danny was really hitting on me last night, I'd be like, nah, Danny wouldn't do that. I feel like maybe you were a little wasted. And she'd be like, no, he wasn't. I'd be like, Danny's my boy. I feel like he wouldn't do that. So I'm going to have to side with him on this. I'm sorry. Maybe you should get out of here.
I agree. Maybe you should
Get out.
Loyal Z McGovern.
But I agree with that. But I
Danny's
told
like, dude, do you want me to like buy you lunch and dinner? And like, I'll buy you a house, dude. I know. Zach's a piece of shit, dude. I'm so sorry.
no, I didn't say that. I never called you a piece of shit.
All right, well, don't get in fights with your friends, Pat. I think we'll chalk it up to that. Don't do that.
No, I think it's good to air out stuff with your friends.
No, that's what I'm saying.
stuff like
Just
that's gonna happen.
don't. Yeah, but
And
at the same
also,
time,
the other
you guys are obviously boys.
Exactly.
So can you guys
spend
dap each
so
other up
much
really
time
quick? I don't
together.
need a kiss. Just dab each other up quick. Just quick hand. All right, you guys, knuckles.
Are you literally over this? I can't tell if you're over it or not.
I think
No,
you
I'm
guys
over it.
should be over it.
I've learned
At least you guys
something.
hashed it. You guys
I mean,
hashed it
yeah.
out.
You gotta hash it out.
I have learned
Fine.
something that in future instances, and I want this to be on a
Yes,
recorded
on air,
form.
of course.
Going
You
forward,
gonna play this tape later?
No, going forward, I'm no longer going to wingman you. I'm not. The minute you start talking
that's
to a
not
girl,
cool.
no, the minute you start talking to a girl, I'm
See, that
going
would-
to
that-
exit myself from the situation because I
Oh, I
do
see what
not
you're
want
saying.
this to happen.
Just don't leer at her, and then I won't get mad.
Don't look at her. So
Leer.
I'll wingman you by looking at
No,
the sky.
I'll tell you,
Hey, my
no.
friend Danny's really
Here,
cool,
let
isn't
me-
he?
let me
Look at
do-
me. I can't. He'll
No,
fucking
no,
freak
no, no.
out.
You're over exaggerating. Look, can you see in the camera? This is what he did. He goes, I think I was like going to the bathroom. I look back, and he just goes.
What is wrong with that?
That's clearly I don't know, dude. I guess leering is no big deal to you in your like model world, but to
What
me in
is
my
wrong with
little
that?
bald guy world, it means something.
Maybe he was checking her out to make sure that she was good enough for you. Maybe he was just making sure everything was good.
No, I was simply checking her out.
Okay,
Which is
all
what I
right.
do every time I'm out. I look at, dude, this is what people do when they go out. They look at the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever you're into. That's what they look at when they're out. They're like, oh, that person's hot. I want to talk to them.
So do you
Or, "Ooh,
think?
that
Do you guys
person's
think that
sexy."
it being a weekend, it being 3:30 in the morning,
Exactly.
how much of that percentage do you think that had to do with that fight?
I would do that 100%
80?
sober.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the context of me knowing Zach from the past, and I know Zach very well, and vice versa. I think that also enhanced the argument is that we both know each other very well, and then all that shit in the past like boils down into the current moment, which is unfair on both of our perspectives.
I was doing, in the situation, on my mind, I was doing nothing wrong, and I stand by that. Leering at her is perfectly fine in my book. Sorry.
Okay, so like
I wasn't
you said,
trying to steal her from you.
like you said, you think you're 100% right and I'm 100% wrong, and I don't think that's true.
That's fine. I disagree. I would if
You
I
disagree
had,
that you're not 100% right?
if I had been hitting on her, I would accept my fault here. But I know I wingmaned you, and I know I didn't do anything wrong. So if I leered at her when she wasn't looking at me, there's nothing wrong with that. I can check out a woman if I want to.
You're welcome to do
You
that.
met her
but
5 minutes before that.
Okay, dude.
You can look. You can.
So
check
you
out-
haven't forgiven me. It's clear.
No, I'm
Look
just
at your
saying-
body language. You're tense and angry.
I'm not tense at all. This is how I move around. I'm just saying, going forward, I know how I'm going to behave with you. I am not.
I don't
wingmanning you.
I
I'm
don't want
gonna
this like
stay out of
moving
your-
forward. You're gonna act in a different, unnatural way. Let's resolve this now and stop
Yeah,
having
we should
this. Like,
squash
yeah,
this.
It is
yeah. Let's
resolved.
squash it.
No,
You're
we
not
should squash
squashing
it,
it, dude.
squash it.
You're
We
not
should squash
squashing
it,
it.
bro.
No, I just
Dr. Ted Jones over here.
the reason I'm
You
doing
gotta forgive me, man. You're not forgiving me.
I have forgiven you. This is what I'm saying going forward is I know how to conduct myself around you when you're drunk and
Just
talking
don't
to a
leer.
woman.
That's it.
Danny, I just will not be around you. I'll just walk away when you're talking to a girl. That's just how this is going to go.
That's a childish overreaction.
Then it's also childish for you to say I can't look at a girl.
I didn't
That's
say you. I
ridiculous.
said you don't. Please don't leer at a girl after I'm working on her for 5 to 10 minutes.
Danny.
You're saying something different than what I'm saying.
Okay. Leering, looking at, checking out. It's all the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I can look at a girl's ass if I want to.
But it's the context of the moment and the situation and like 3:30 in the morning at a bar, and
That is a big part of it. I'd
Yeah,
see
it is a big part.
I just think it's
80%.
ridiculous that you're saying I can't check out a girl.
I'm not
that's
saying
ridiculous.
you can't check out a girl. I'm saying
you are.
I'm saying I would appreciate if you didn't leer at a chick that I was actively working on at a bar when you're a better looking guy than me and you've done it before. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I was looking at a girl that you were talking to. For that, I apologize because it
You don't
upset
mean it.
you. No, because it upset you, I apologize. But I don't, from my perspective, feel bad for checking out a girl, which is a normal human
I'm not
thing to
saying
do.
you don't check out girls, dude. You're not saying what I'm saying.
What is part of
We're
checking
on
out
two
a girl?
different planes
Looking
here.
at her ass, looking at her chest,
But
looking at her face.
I'm not
That's
saying
what you
don't
do.
check out women. I'm saying don't check out a girl in that context.
That you're talking to for 5 minutes.
You knew I was hitting on her. She was
So I
hot.
could still look at her. So
I didn't
what?
say you can't look at her. We're not on the same page.
Did
here.
you know this person beforehand? Before
No.
that?
No. We just walked up to her.
So he's laying claim to a girl that he was speaking to for 5 minutes, saying I can't check her out. Give me a break.
Or maybe just check her out more covertly.
Yeah.
Maybe just like kind of.
True winging isn't also leering at the same during the wing.
I just think that you guys are men, you're straight men. I've never had a problem around other straight men where like if I check out a girl that someone's been talking to for 5 minutes, you'd be like, dude, stop looking at my girl.
Yeah, but
You're
it's
gonna
the
fucking
context.
steal her, dude. Go away. They'd just be like, she's hot, right? And I'd be like,
Yeah, it's more.
tight. Nice
It's
guy."
kind of. It's
Context.
kind of a compliment.
It's context.
If you were talking to her, I mean,
Exactly.
I see both sides, so I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's
This is
advocate
also
here.
at the same time. This is like I feel like a circulus argument, just because you both are not wrong and you both have feelings,
Yeah.
and we all have.
And I
feelings.
apologize. And I was
apologize,
sincere,
too.
but I don't think you've forgiven me.
He just did. He just said, "I'm sorry
just
for
said
real."
I'm
That was the
sorry.
most
He said he's
sincere.
sorry if I feel that way.
No.
That's
He
not
just
a
said, "I'm
sincere
sorry."
apology.
I mean,
Dude, you should be
I
sorry
apologize
of
for
your
upsetting
friend.
her.
Yeah, you should be apologetic of your other person's feelings. Of
That's
your
what I'm
boy's
saying. I
feelings.
apologize for upsetting you.
You should, but you should understand
Yes,
where
I
he's
do.
coming from, and you should understand where he's coming from
Yeah.
both ways. Anyway, guys, this
Dude,
was really this
360,
was
buddy.
really freaking great. We spent so much time on the don't do that, but these guys actually fully hash it out here on
Yeah.
the pod.
Yeah, that was nice,
beautiful.
actually.
We live the don't do
was
that.
Guys,
cathartic,
can
if
you
you
guys
will.
can you guys fist bump each other again? Nice. Oh, and a backslap.
Nice.
That
We're
was
boys. We're
good
boys.
too. Yeah, they are.
That's
They
part
are
of- that's
boys.
part
They
of
have
friendship. You have
podcasts,
to
and
work
they
through
also
shit.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
these
figure
guys
it out.
also rag on each other all the time. So for them to
Yeah.
actually come together and like speak about something meaningful, it's touching, Pat.
Listen to this exact
touching.
argument tomorrow on
It is.
Space. What the fuck?
No, dude.
No,
I can't.
I think it's
can't.
done.
Please.
So where besides Spotify, where else can the viewers and listeners listen to Space? What the fuck, dude? It's on just Spotify right now?
It's on all the things.
Yeah, podcast app,
Apple Podcasts,
things.
Stitcher,
Apple Podcasts.
Stitcher, Buzzsprout.
There's like 6 of them. There's like 10 of them.
laughable.
Yeah, laughable.
Laugh Stub, Ticket Stub.
It's not on Ticket Stub, bro.
Not yet. Don't got the full tour coming yet.
Charge.
Everywhere you can find podcasts, basically, unless it's like what's the one Luminary. We're not on there because
You on YouTube? Do you have video or no?
We have a couple snippets. We're
gotta
gonna
get
get
there.
there. We're gonna take what you guys are doing
Cool.
here, and we're gonna replicate it on a much cheaper level.
We'll see. I'm sure you guys will hook it up nice and tight like it's
You guys, I got to give to credit your podcast. This is great. Your setup is
Thank you
super
so much,
It's a nice
man.
conversation.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming. We really freaking
Thanks for having us.
appreciate it. Of course, Pat. What are we at over there, man?
1 hour and 9 minutes.
Guys, that was
That is perfect.
really terrific.
Can we say our handles? Danny Palmer NYC,
Yeah,
Instagram.
please go ahead.
Zach McGovern on Twitter and Instagram. Zach_McGovern on TikTok. Get
Now-
on the top.
Now, dude, Zach. How do people spell Zach, bro? With an H or a K?
ZachMCGOVERN.
I love when we have friends
Like
from like 5 years
Zachary.
and they still spell your name wrong to me. I'm like,
No,
dude,
I would have gotten that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was just trying to make sure over there.
Do you have a Instagram for the pod too? Or
Space WTFD. Thank you. Thank you.
Hilarious. So guys,
reminding
get
me.
over there and listen to it. Guys, what would you say that the best episode is, like, for somebody to really get in there and
I think-
get a good episode going?
one
the
with
New Year's
Julio
one with
and
Ricky and Ricky Velez and Julio
episode
Gallerati.
definitely.
Yeah, I actually listened to that
the first
one.
11
It's
minutes
really
are fucking
funny.
fire, dude.
It's really funny.
Thank you.
Ricky Velez, who was on just a couple weeks ago, and Julio Gallerati, who was on earlier in the podcast, episode 7. Two funny dudes, and they just came on your podcast and had some insane answers to space questions,
Oh my
as
God,
everyone
so
does. Excuse me, as everyone does. But they came on. You guys were ripping each other. It was very funny. I think there was also 3 mics present. Was there? Like when somebody was just like yelling off mic, and you guys were just giving each other shit.
There was
Classic.
2 mics
We
for
just
4
handed-
people.
We just hand it back and forth.
2 mics for 4 people.
But it worked
was
well.
ridiculous.
It worked well. It was
did work
very
well.
funny. What number episode is that, guys?
37, I want to say.
You want to
was
check
looking
that
at
out?
that.
Why don't you
Yeah,
plug
like
that
2 seconds,
correctly?
dude.
We're coming up on episode 40 tomorrow. So
Very
it's-
nice.
Whoa.
Pat, so we had a lovely time this episode. This was really
We did.
fun.
Thank you for having us, dude.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
guys, thanks for coming on. It was really great. And I'm happy you guys hashed this out in this
I am too.
very serious don't do that segment. But, also these guys are boys. So
Thank you very much for having us, guys.
Yes, dude. It was really great. Danny, what episode is that?
It is episode number. Danny and Zach get along perfectly. Nope, that's not it.
One episode.
Yeah, which episode is that?
That's one episode out of 40.
Yeah, right.
Let's see.
Fuck.
God just
I don't
brings us
know.
together. God is dope. By the
here it
way,
is.
the shirt still
Episode
plugging it.
35. Sorry, episode 35.
Episode 35.
35.
Space.
35.
What the fuck, dude?
Giulio Gallerati.
So with Giulio Gallerati, Ricky Velez, friends of all of us here in the studio. So we actually are going to wrap it up right now. And we really appreciate you guys for coming. Fists over here.
Thanks, dude.
Fists over here. Air
Jones.
fists for Pat
you guys.
Charmel
Thank you
over
for
there.
coming.
And we will catch you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.